Welcome into Picks and Parlays Power Hour. I'm Hannah Mears. I'm your host, and you can follow me on Twitter at Hannah Mears, or better yet, make sure you ring that bell down there and subscribe, follow along for all the notifications so you don't miss a single second of what we've got going on here at Picks and Parlays Power Hour live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. But don't forget about something called NoHouseAdvantage.com. Now, the benefit of NoHouseAdvantage.com is that it's changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Sign up now with the promo code PNP at NoHouseAdvantage.com or download the app on the App Store to get a first deposit match up to $50. That's NoHouseAdvantage.com. Now it's time to talk some football with the man who is traveling on the road right now, our road trip warrior, Nick Earl. We've got the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. This is a new name, but it's still the Pinstripe Bowl nonetheless. But we want to remind everybody about something really quick, Nick. If they text their first name and last name to this number, so you need your full name, to 775-403-5400, you get a 3-day expert pass for $29. That's 775-403-5400. Be any expert that you want. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Now, the Pinstripe Bowl, Syracuse and Minnesota. Minnesota's coming into this one favored at -10. I think that's a lot of points. The total's at 42.5. But what do you think? Is -10 too much for Minnesota?
Yeah, looking at this spot for me, one thing I like to do with these bowl games right now, opt-outs and things along those lines are at like an all-time high this year. So when you look at it here, we have the offensive coordinator for Syracuse. He's taking over play calling duties at NC State. Quarterbacks coach will be calling the plays. They'll be missing Steve Linton, who entered the portal, and then defensive coordinator Tony White also departed for Nebraska. So a lot of movements with the coaching staff of Syracuse here. They'll also be without their top running back, Sean Tucker, who is opted out to prepare for the NFL draft. And on the other side, we have the starting quarterback, Tanner Morgan, who missed the last few games with an injury. He's uncertain if he's going to play. So we'll see who starts at quarterback there. And also they'll be missing linebacker Braylon Oliver and safety Michael Dixon, who entered the portal in this game. And for people who don't know, for the Pinstripe Bowl, this game is located at Yankee Stadium in New York. So this is what's going to feel like a home game for the Syracuse Orange here in this one. And with the offense for Minnesota, I think this is a game where this is just too many points for Minnesota to be laying here. So I'm going to go ahead, grab the points here with Syracuse. A lower scoring game, maybe an under, but I think that this game stays relatively close.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think 10's too many, especially for a Minnesota team who wasn't really a highly offensive team for most of the season throughout the Big Ten anyway. Tanner Morgan's been in and out of the lineup as well. So, all right, we're taking the Oranges at +10 in that one. Thank you so much, Nick. Everyone, make sure you subscribe, follow along. Ring that bell for notifications. We are live on Picks and Parlays Power Hour, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. All right, our road warrior now has some NFL rapid fire. He's got about 5 NFL games in 5-ish minutes. But everyone remember, if you text your full name to this number listed below, you can get a 3-day expert pass for just $29. That's any expert that you want. All right, Nick, are we ready for some rapid fire? He's in the car. He looks ready to go to me. Starting off our Sunday slate here with the Minnesota Vikings in Green Bay. The Packers favored at -3.5. The Vikings you were calling out before this Power Hour went live as some of the biggest frauds in the NFL. The total at 48.5. Who do you think takes the cake in this one?
Yeah, I am looking at the Green Bay Packers in this game. I got -3 around -120, -125.
I think we're losing Nick a little bit. He's one of our road warriors. We appreciate him, but no worries. We'll get his picks back if you were looking at that one. He likes Green Bay, and that one, the Vikings have not been a consistent team this season, and Aaron Rodgers has inched closer and closer to getting his team to looking like they're a little bit more competitive as well. All right, Let's bring in some Dan the Man action here. He is at home. He's not on the road. So we've got him here. We've got a Cheez-It Bowl to talk about as well in NCAA football. But first, let's remind everyone, Dan, if they text their full name to the number listed below, they get a 3-day expert pass for just $29 by texting 775-403-5400. Dan the Man. We've got the Cheez-It Bowl to talk about here. We've got Oklahoma and Florida State. Florida State favored at -9.5. The total at 66. This Florida State offense has been high scoring, and the Sooners have been allowing at least 32 points per game in their last 4. So what do you think is going to end up being the result in the Cheez-It Bowl?
Yeah, usually you'd see these two teams faced off in like a New Year's Six day game or something, and now how the mighty have fallen, going to the Cheez-It Bowl. Yeah, and I just wonder, the powers that be at Oklahoma, I wonder if they're maybe rethinking packing up and going to the SEC. I mean, just a year ago, they're dominating the Big 12, and since that announcement, Lincoln Riley goes to the left coast. They lose both their quarterbacks who one won the Heisman, and the other one was favored to win the Heisman going into last season. Lincoln Riley leaves, and he takes basically their upcoming, the recruiting class. So, I guess maybe it's careful what you wish for. They wanted to go to the SEC, and they may be paying the price for that. But going to this game, this Oklahoma team, they started out strong at the beginning of the season. And you hear, I would read the Sooner wet fan pages saying, oh, Lincoln who? Well, they lost 3 out of the last 4 of the games of the season. They come in at 6-6, and a loss to Florida State would be their first losing season since 1998 for Oklahoma. So there's a lot on the line for them. But they come into this game without their both their starting tackles and their starting running back and their best defensive linemen. So, they're going up against the Florida State defense, especially that's 4th in the nation against the pass. They've got like 35 sacks this season without those 2 tackles and without a running game. I don't feel real comfortable that Gabriel may not, will make it through this game for Oklahoma. Yeah, Florida State is playing really well. At halfway through the season, there were whispers of getting rid of the coach, but he turned it on at the end of the season. They're sitting at 9-3, and they're looking for the first 10-win season since 2016. Their quarterback has played really well this season. They're just for under 3,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. They got a 1,000-yard rusher. The offense is clicking, and I just don't like this Oklahoma defense. They've been bad, especially down the stretch. I know it's a lot of points, but I think Florida State wants this game, and I'm not sure if Oklahoma really want to be here. And obviously, they're missing some key players that don't want to be there. So I'm going to lay the points in this one. I think Florida State will win this one by double digits.
All right, laying the points with the Florida State Seminoles, especially against a team who is so high in offensive production. It's hard to keep up with that if you can't stop it. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow along, ring that bell for notifications. Picks and Parlays Power Hour live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much, Dan. That's your Cheez-It Bowl pick. But now we're going to move into the NFL slate. We've got the Panthers in Tampa Bay. The Bucks favored at -3, the total at 40. These are the NFC South's top 2 teams right now, which is pretty crazy. That division has been so weak this season, but the Panthers sort of looking like they're getting somewhat of a rhythm, but can Brady and the Bucks put a stop to that?
I'm tired of Tom Brady. I'm tired of the Tampa Bay team. I'm just tired of it. I mean, how bad has he played this season? If they didn't get lucky and come back against very bad teams and bad coaches, they'd be talking about Tom Brady in the same sentences as they're talking about Russell Wilson. And has he lost it? Well, I think he has lost it. He hasn't played really all that well. Yes, he's had a couple of comebacks, but I think that's more to the other team letting up on their defense. They had a good half against Cincinnati, and then got blown out in the second half. I just don't like this team. They struggle to run the ball. Brady only seems to be good in the last 4 minutes of a game. I hope Carolina. I'm taking Carolina in this one, and I hope they come in there and just pound the Buccaneers, and let's get rid of this Buccaneers team. Let's get rid of Brady and let him retire, go home, spend time with his family. Oh, sorry, you can't do that. My bad.
Easy, Dan. Don't kick the man while he's down. But the
Hey,
Carolina
you got to remember, he's a Michigan man.
The Carolina Panthers at +3 in this one. I think they can keep it close as well, if anything. So I like that bet. Also, everyone, remember, if you text your full name to the number listed below, then you get a 3-day expert pass for just $29. That's 775-403-5400. Also, you can subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications because we are live on Picks and Parlays Power Hour, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. All right. Moving on to some Thursday night football. We've got your 3 best prop bets for the Cowboys and the Titans. But everyone, don't forget, we've got a little bit of a New Year's prize for you. Text your full name to the number listed below. Get a 3-day expert pass, any expert you want, for just $29. So, Dan, your 3 best Thursday night prop bets. How are we looking in the Cowboys and Titans?
Yeah, well, the props market is pretty thin right now. I mean, there's not a lot out there, especially on the Titans. So I'm playing Derrick Henry anytime touchdown, -105. If they do score, obviously, with the Malik Willis, I don't think they're going to get it through the air. So I'm hoping for maybe a pass interference in the end zone, put the ball at the 1-yard line, and let the big guy carry it over. It's only -105. I was looking at the Dallas running backs, but they're all like -155 for both of them. And then it's almost like a coin flip, which one you're going to choose, and they seem to alternate. So I stayed away from that one. Dak Prescott over a half an interception. He seems to throw interceptions, left at least one a game. So I think Tennessee will be able to get one off of him in this one. And this one, both teams to get 2 or more field goals at +340. I don't see Tennessee scoring a lot of touchdowns, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of Malik Willis this year. So I think they should be able to get at least a couple of field goals. And then Dallas, I don't know, if they don't get it close enough for one of the running backs to run it in, they seem to struggle. I think they can get 2 field goals in this one, and I like the +340.
I do too. That's a good one for sure. I wish I could make that bet in the Steelers-Ravens game, but I think it would.
Well, I think that might be 3 or
a lot more than that. Yeah, those are your Thursday night football props. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We are live on Picks and Parlays Power Hour, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Dan the Man, thank you so much for your picks.
Thank you.
I'm Hannah Mears, and you're watching Picks and Parlays Power Hour. Now it's time to bring in my next guest, the boss man himself. We've got Craig Trapp. We've got the Alamo Bowl. But first, we want to remind everybody, if they text their full name to the number listed below, right here, you can get a 3-day expert pass for just $29. That's any expert that you want. Craig, we've got Texas and Washington in the Alamo Bowl. Texas has a good run defense, but really could struggle against what Penix Jr. and Washington bring in the passing game. How do you think that affects the outcome of the Alamo Bowl?
Well, I think, Texas did shut down Alabama's passing game, remember. So, I mean, at times this year, that pass rush really saved them. I don't think the secondary is great, but if you get enough pressure quickly, that can save the day. I really think there's going to be a lot of points, even though there's not been a ton of points scored in bowl action so far. I do think this one's probably going to have a lot of points. I think both teams get over 30. Now, do they get enough to get the over 67.5? That'll be a close one there. But to me, I think it comes down to Texas. Can they run the ball, control the clock? Because if you do so, that helps protect your defense a little bit. And I was surprised. I actually thought this would probably be closer to a pick'em game. I think Washington is really good. I think Texas is clearly the better team. But I was kind of thinking this would be, I guess, Texas is basically a home game for Texas. I think that's maybe why they have that 3-point edge. But to me, I think the key is Texas wants to get that momentum in the offseason. And at home, for the most part, I think this is a statement game for Texas. Also a statement game against a Pac-12 that, I think was a little overrated this year when they had all those teams that were in the top 20. I was like, including this Washington team. So to me, I think you do take Texas -3. I think you do think that Texas runs the ball, can protect that secondary by rushing the passer and getting a lot of pressure on Penix and them. So I like Texas -3 here. I also think in the first half, Texas at -1.5 is a good play. I think they'll jump out early like I said, being at home or at least in the state of Texas. So let's take Texas -3 as the better play, though.
Yeah, coming out with that energy for sure, especially feeling like a home game. Everyone, if you like what Craig's got going on and what we've got going on at Picks and Parlays Power Hour, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. We're live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. All right, we've got Tennessee and Clemson. This one, I'm sure, is going to have a lot of eyes on it. In the Orange Bowl, the total at 63.5, and Clemson favored in this one. And don't forget, everyone, you can text your full name to the number listed below and get a 3-day expert pass for just $29. All right, so Clemson's been that team that everyone's waiting to see kind of really rise back up to dominance, favored at -4.5. But will Tennessee be able to close that gap a little bit?
Well, what could have been for Clemson?
Yeah.
I don't know what
Tennessee.
I don't think so as much. I think Tennessee had an unbelievable year. Obviously,
Yeah.
Injured quarterback late in the year. That's just that part hurt. But Clemson, if they just would have switched quarterbacks early, it was clear early in the year that they just it was literally all over like 3 or 4 years ago when they made that switch halfway through the year and then ran to the championship game. To me, you needed a more explosive quarterback. And as good as that defense was, you can't ask your defense to win it game after game. They finally made the quarterback change. And I mean, if you watch the championship game in the ACC, it was amazing. I mean, they absolutely trounced. And now we know how bad that North Carolina defense is. But still, I mean, Clemson was very impressive. I think that carries over. And this Clemson team is going to be loaded again for next year. This is a team that's going to be, if not the favorite to win it next year, they'll be in the top 3. And I think this is a big stepping stone. Tennessee, great year, but you have a lot of players out and a lot of players I've even heard that might opt out between now and the championship game. We're filming this on Wednesday, game's on Friday. So who knows who's going to be playing for Tennessee, but I know who's going to be playing for Clemson. And I like Clemson here. I also think the under is going to be the play. I think Clemson defense will absolutely dominate this game. Their defense is really good, and they had to cover up for an offense that that turned the ball over a lot. They're not going to do that in this game. I like the under here. I think Clemson's going to win like 40-17 or something like that. I think this is going to be
it's going to be a dominant Clemson performance.
I think it's going to be dominating both the under and Clemson minus the points is what I'm playing here.
All right, orange versus orange and the Orange Bowl.
Right.
A lot of orange going on, but we like the Clemson orange in this one.
Yeah.
Make sure you like, subscribe, follow along, and ring the bell for notifications. Picks and Parlays Power Hour is live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. All right, Craig, we've got to talk some NFL. The Niners and the Raiders switching quarterbacks. We just found out today the total at 45, but everyone, if you text your full name to the number listed below, you get a 3-day expert pass for just $29. That's any expert that you want. You have to text your full name to the number listed below. Let's get into this matchup of the Niners and the Raiders because Vegas struggled versus the Steelers, and they could have similar struggles against a Niners defense who has been pretty shut down. They could have a lot of trouble against someone like Christian McCaffrey. And now benching, nothing's wrong with Derek Carr. They just don't have faith in him anymore. And benching him, I don't know if that's the right move or not, especially at this point in the season. So what's your opinion on this, and how does this change the outcome?
Well, imagine Devontae Adams.
Yes.
I mean, you left Green Bay to go play with your best friend, at least that's what everybody says, Derek Carr. Now Derek Carr leads the league in interceptions, and you bench him after, he's just not been great this year. But, I mean, Stidham isn't the answer either. So no. And not only did they bench him, he's the third string inactive player for this week. So he's not even the backup that, if Stidham struggles, they could go back to him. And you're facing the best defense in the league. That spells trouble to me. Maybe you say this is a great quarterback draft. So maybe this is just clear, like, hey, we're going to cut him. I think he's only like $5 or $6 million to dead money next year off the salary cap. So this would be a good year to do that. But to me, I just think, San Francisco is just too good. I mean, third string quarterback, second string quarterback, first string quarterback. It doesn't matter. The defense in the run game is dominating. And I don't see anything slowing this San Francisco team down. They're not a team that overlooks people, because when you run the ball and you play defense, this isn't something that you do sometime. You do it all the time. I love San Francisco -5.5 in the first half. Also, like San Francisco -10 for the game. I just don't see how the Raiders, even a pretty decent run game, they're not going to be able to run the ball in San Francisco. And if you're asking Jarrett Stidham to win you the game, that's going to spell trouble.
Yeah.
The three-headed monster that at the running back position for San Francisco, once they got McCaffrey, it really changed the way this team runs. And to me, I think San Francisco should be the favorite to win the Super Bowl, even with Purdy.
100%.
I think they're the most consistent team. They don't really have a weakness, even with a rookie quarterback, and he's your third string. I don't think it matters. Give me San Francisco -5.5 in the first half.
I don't think benching Derek Carr was the answer. I just don't. And I think if you're going to be looking and maybe potentially trying to get some money or some profits for him in any way, then you're trying to make him look as good as you can. And against the number one defense, that could have been a thing. But now
I don't think anybody would trade for him,
chance.
though. So I don't I don't know if it hurts your value as far as him, because you would have to cut him because he's due too much money. No team's going to sign him. But there's a team, I'm sure, out there that think he's a huge upgrade over what they have.
Oh, for sure.
Josh McDaniels, let's be honest, he fell out in Denver last time he was there as a head coach. Hasn't been so good this year. This was a playoff team with an interim coach last year. So things not so good in Vegas land.
No, not at all. My goodness, what a disaster. Going to be watching this one very closely and make sure Devontae Adams, I would be trying to keep him as happy as possible if I were the Raiders. And that doesn't seem like they're too concerned at the moment. But if you want more of our banter about the Raiders or any of our picks, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We are live on Picks and Parlays Power Hour, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Craig, thank you. And thanks everyone for tuning in.